Okay, I am back. Of course, I am late again. Like, been the whole day today. Um, but I mean, that's the way it goes sometimes. I don't know. I need to figure out a way of being more consistent and more on time when when I can. When I can't, I can't. I mean, there's times when I actually can't. Things to do, things I have to do, whatever. But most cases, when I can be on time, I should be on time. And apologies for that. Apparently, Salsa Stream Ninja still isn't acting right with Kick. I can actually send messages to Kick from the dashboard though, so I guess I'll just leave it up here. In fact, the Kick um the user count or whatever is still displaying there too. So I guess if I want to see anything that's on Kick chat, I'll have to occasionally check out the actual the window, the pop out chat window. But in any case, I mean, that's the way that goes sometimes, I guess. Here, we'll we'll do something here. I'll put up kick and I'll stick it down in like the bottom just in case there's a reason to actually look at the kit chat window. Okay. So what? Okay. Whatever. Whatever, whoever, whenever. Okay. Anyways, so evening rook. I'm late today. I was late in the earlier part. I only did about 45 minutes here. Here an hour and 15 minutes. But today it's just been too late today. And instead of going to chapter 13, which I should be doing, I'm still preparing some documents to upload to the personal files in Grok in my project. So right now I'm working on the roadmap. I'm gonna add 18 in there, and I think I need to rearrange a few of the phases because the balance doesn't seem right anymore. So that's what I'm hopefully gonna do. So the next one will be revision theta, and I'll call it that, and I'll have it uploaded. In fact, I should have a running document with all the revisions, and so I'll copy to there when I'm done and all that. So I guess the rest of today I'll be preparing that. I'll be doing that. I'll go into my notes and find the current synopsis that I would normally um, like upload to a new chat, and I'll actually upload it as a file. So it'll be the thing that kind of explains everything. So it'll have this, that, and then these are the actual room files in 22 documents so that it can use it as a knowledge base. So whenever I need to look up something or tell them where I'm currently at, of course, I'll have to delete all those files the next time I actually update, like when the next rooms I add, like when I go to chapter 13, when I get done with that, I'll have to regenerate the files. But that'll be okay. I'll do that to keep it up to date. Okay, so let me look. I uploaded revision Ada. I guess it's pronounced Ada. I don't know for sure. I know in the UK you usually pronounce beta beta, I guess, or at least a lot of the times a lot of people from the UK will pronounce it beta instead of beta. Um, and so then all the Adas are pronounced Adas. I don't know if that's the right pronunciation, but so there was Zeta. Um, then there was Ada, which is ETA, which is what I'm on now, and then Theta is actually the next one. in the Greek alphabet. Okay. Clear logical progression, pure text, choose-your-own adventure, full graphical parser, adventure, strong emphasis on reusability, exactly what you need for a non-linear game, milestones are tight and testable, good separation of concerns, constructive observations. Dependencies look solid until phase 9, the save system. It referenced reusable rooms, phase 3, and multi-character, which is correct. Parser, phase 6, is introduced fairly late relative to inventory. I want to flip or merge those, so basic command parsing exists before inventory verbs. Oh, that's a thought. I never thought about that. Maybe I will. Maybe I will switch them. Let's see. Let me go to. No, no, no. Parsers first. Inventory is second. Um, if I remember correctly, 6 comes before 7, which means the parser does indeed come before the inventory. You're right. Mess up on that way. I'm ready whenever you are. Okay. Um, let's see. What else does it say though? These will ramp up very late. 11 plus. If you're already adding static images in phase 5, you could pull hotspot navigation earlier to avoid reworking scenes twice. NPC dialogue is missing as a dedicated phase. You mentioned wanting dialogue trees. Currently, NPCs would only appear in phase 15, but dialogue trees are needed much earlier if you want meaningful character interaction before the full UI. That's probably correct. That's probably what I'll do. Natural spot for dialogue tree. It slots best right after phase 6, before phase 7, or as a sub inside phase 8. That way you can test branching conversation with the basic parser before layering inventory graphical UI on top. Okay, let me mirror sequencing notes, minor sequencing notes. Phase 4 multi-character before phase 9, save is smart, but make sure character state is included in the save structure early. Oh yeah, the save phase will include character state. Anything that you can save, anything that requires um saving, such as your character position, like what room you're in, and um yeah, all the various attributes. Clickable hotspots, phase 12 and phase 17 character movement feel like they could be combined or reordered once you have visuals. Okay. So let's see. Dependencies look solid until phase 9. Dependencies look solid until phase 9. Here, let me quote him or quote her or quote it. I guess a him. I don't know. Would you describe Grok as a him or a her or an it? Um, let me see. Uh, quote above. Why not after 9? Why don't they look solid after phase 9? Why do they stop looking solid? It's built before you've added most of the state-heavy features that actually need saving, so once you move past it, you'll have to keep circling back to update, expand the save format every time you add. Puzzles, puzzle progress, solid flags, item states, phase 15, NPCs, dialogue trees, conversation flags. Interactive, maybe. That's possible. Retrofit save hooks into clickable hotspots. It's placed early enough to support reusable rooms multi-character, but too early for the rest of the game's persistent data. Let me think for a moment. Okay, so the save system. Okay, let me go back and look at the save system again because there's a reason I put in them. I put the save system before them because otherwise, how do I say it? Uh, puzzles. I can't do the puzzle thing without being able to save the state of the inventory and so forth. So, in a sense, the save state thing should actually be before, for instance, before the puzzles. Okay, the navigation system is where I separate the navigation system. The room independence, and all that means is I'll take all of the rooms, all the pages, and I'll put them into proper room files. They'll be exactly the same. I mean, it'll act exactly the same as it does. In other words, there's not going to be any like real change other than when I add rooms. But they'll all be that'll actually be kind of a tough deal too, um, because I'll have to my file format or my room format will have to change somewhat. I'll have to add there'll be a couple of things. I'll have to add the choice sets. Um, Now the choices are basically the doors, right? So each page will have its own set of doors, right? Each thing in there will have its own set of doors. It won't be that big of a deal though, because I guess I'll still be keeping kind of the same format, but there'll be multi rooms. Eventually, they're going to need to be a single room. In other words, a room will have to be able to hold multiple sets of data. So that's why things should change. The room itself, the room class, will have to be expanded to include, I guess, an array, probably an array of individual room objects, you might say. I'll have to rethink how I do all that. Um, yeah, I'll have to think about. Hmm, that's an interesting thought. Well, the point is, it'll have to be able to have the same. I don't know. I'll worry about it when I get to it. Decoupling their descriptions and choices from a single linear path. Refactor room data to include generic description and multiple choice sets, basically, right? So it'll be multiple door sets, basically. Player characters, multiple player characters. Oh, that's the other thing. Uh, that I might have to change multiple player characters to characters. I don't know how to say that because NPCs. Well, I don't know. I have NPCs like way down the line. Let me think. Let me think. It's like I'll make a character class, and then the player characters will be extended from the from the character class, and then the non-player characters will be extended from the character class. So I don't know. Maybe they should still remain two separate phases, but maybe they should be done at different times. I don't know. I have to think about it. Add audiovisual elements. This doesn't technically need to be anywhere. It could be completely away from the the rest of it. In fact, I might should go ahead and regroup every audio visual and stuff. That means pick backgrounds and characters and whatever anything that requires artwork or sound will be delayed until I have the full almost the full text adventure version done. Okay. Add audiovisual elements. Introduction of parser. Um, right. We introduce a parser. We have an inventory system. We expand the interactivity to add more verbs, so that instead of hitting one and enter, and now you actually have real verbs. When I do the inventory, um, so the inventory is still going to utilize the parser system, uh, and it's going to have these like take, drop, use, and stuff. And then when I go to expand the interactivity, the main interactivity, I can pretty much use the same systems to. I have to implement. Um, I'll have to actually implement the actions and stuff. Anyways, whatever. Uh, save state system, save and load system, preserve game room states, enhance player experience and support nonlinear gameplay. Design data structure to store game state. Current room idea, player choices, room states like door unlocked or item taken. Develop a save system to write the game state to a file. Because at this point, I already have the inventory system. I already have the parser. I already have the expansion of the interactivity. What I might do is, let's see. Yeah, that's right. So I might include the. Well, I don't know. It'll require like a complete changeover at this point because the parser I can use the parser to actually do the choices, right? But once you have an inventory system that can take items and drop items, and that's the other thing, right? So it's almost a chicken and egg thing. So I would start with how did I say that? Forgive me, I get a little distracted and a little kind of all over the place. Expansion interactivity. The parser will allow you to now insert parser commands. The parser will be a parser. The game won't act much different other than the fact you have to hit your choice and enter, or west, north, south, east, and west and enter. instead of just pressing a button. Then we have the inventory system. Almost should put the save system before the parser. Think about that for a moment. Okay. Let's start with phase 10, which is actually puzzles, right? Puzzles. The reason that the save system is before that, because I need the save system in place for implementing actual puzzles. For instance, you need a tool. You need to pick up a tool in one room and carry it to another. Since I can now pick up inventory, that's a good thought. Okay, so if I implement inventory, I'm going to implement something that will allow you to take an item from a room. And use it in another room. How do I do that? Is before this. It's because I need to be able to save for instance, my inventory. You need to go into a dark attic, and so you look around in the current room for something to help you see in the darkness. You open a chest, and there's a flashlight in there. So you grab the flashlight before heading to the attic. Now, the character won't enter the attic until you get the light. In your case, Rook, you guys call it a torch. We call it a flashlight. Not that you couldn't tell or didn't already know what a flashlight was, but still. Now the character won't enter the attic until you get the light. So I need the state system, the save state, to have. Okay, so save system, it doesn't necessarily mean a save to disk system. It means saving variables in memory, essentially. To have so I need to save the state of the inventory. Also, keep in mind the save state system isn't necessarily for a disk, but rather storing items in memory. Having a variable, um, having a room inventory. Let's see. Well, if I already implement the inventory, I'm still looking at player inventory, but the room would probably need an inventory if you're going to take something or place something. So the inventory system is going to include both, and they'll already be in memory. So in a sense, that is already there. Where you take an item like from the room means that no longer in room inventory. Now it's in player character inventory. It's almost a chicken and egg thing. But I figured I needed the save state system early because then I could start shoot, it should be earlier than that. Doing things like packs and what have you. Anyways, I have a logic, and maybe you can tell me that my logic is incorrect. Who knows, right? You're right. When do you want any persistent change, item removed from room inventory added to player inventory that change blocking later progression like the Dark Attic, you need to save state system in place first, treating it as an in-memory room player state, not just disk save. Makes perfect sense for enabling loopbacks and reusable rooms without chicken and egg problem. We keep where it is before phase 10. That's the correct order. Propose small adjustments in the sequence around here. Save state system in memory disk. Puzzle design now fully supported by state. Create backgrounds and theme visuals. Everything else stays is unless you want to move the new dialogue tree phase. That's what I was thinking. I'm not ready to change it yet, but I'm looking to see what looks most logical in order. One other thing that I didn't think about really is that do I need the state system as a distinct phase? Because once I implement inventory, we're automatically storing things, storing inventory in memory. Unless the save state phase is actually before inventory. I don't want it to continue to sketch things. That's the thing that gets me. I don't want it to offer suggestions until I ask for the suggestions. What's about the instructions in here? Make sure you don't suggest any further actions until I ask for them. Maybe, okay, I'll just leave it like that. And I'll just have that saved so that maybe it'll remember to do that. You still need phase 9 as a distinct phase. Inventory alone is not in enough state when you code arrays for player items and room items. That handles the flashlight example for that one mechanic. The moment you add puzzles, dialogue trees, or reusable rooms with loopbacks, you will need more than just inventory. Has your chest been opened yet? Is the attic light puzzle solved? Which dialogue branch did the NPC take last visit? Did the player already take the secret key from the room on a previous loop? If you don't have a centralized state manager by then, you end up with a mess of global variables and duplicate if it has flashlight checks everywhere. Refactoring that later is painful. Chicken and egg, exactly why phase 9 comes after inventory but before puzzles. Phase 7 gives you the inventory part. Phase 9 wraps everything to one clean system. A centralized state management system. In memory back plus disk. Sorry about that. Disk persistence, not just a save file. Everything else in Ada still flows logically with this order. Parser, inventory system, expansive interactivity, centralized state management system still here. Puzzle design and implementation. Want me to sketch the full revised? No thanks. Please don't suggest anything until I ask for it. Like the want me to style questions. Wait until I say, okay, let's do this, or I want to do that, or something of that nature. Makes it easier for me to concentrate on the thing I'm trying to be focused on. Thank you. Okay. Okay. Thank you, noted. Okay. All right. State management system. That's fine. We can call it that. Expansion of interactivity. Replace textual descriptions with visual representations. Develop backgrounds for each scene. Replace textual descriptions with visual depictions. Add sound effects to enhance scenes. Test visuals for alignment with the narrative. Test visuals across different modes to create a style guide for art consistency milestone. Okay. All right. So at this point, basically, we'll say after phase 10, it should be a fully working text adventure system, right? So the full game will be like a full-on text adventure then at this point. So maybe I was thinking it'd be nice to do some of the visuals earlier, but I'm thinking that which what is like phase five, I think. Phase five. And where did I put the NPC creation here? Okay. Hmm. So maybe phase five should actually be right after phase 10. I think phase 10, which was the puzzle design, right? No sense in um, in adding visual items until add all elements in place that would require visuals. Audio. Now this, I didn't actually ask it deliberately, but hopefully it knows. You avoid building visuals audio twice. Once puzzle state inventory locked in, you know exactly scenes, items, need art and sound. That probably makes more sense. I think early on I was thinking that because I was building it gradually and because I wanted you to be able to see things getting done and working. I wanted to have the visuals and stuff earlier, but it really makes sense to do it after the text adventure, the full text adventure phase is done. Phase 5 currently includes static images for each scene and background music. If you slide it in after 10, you'll still want to make sure any placeholder text descriptions are detailed enough that you can hand them off cleanly to an artist later. Um, yeah, this is still part of me learning things, and I don't foresee foresee handing anything off to anyone initially because I have no money. So I'm going to be doing everything myself. That being said, it will probably be sufficiently that being said, it'll probably be sufficiently detailed enough. Um, and also, I'm probably going to turn these static images into full backgrounds when I start adding the actual visuals. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and where is the thing? I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna copy this again to keep you current. Here's the roadmap again. So please swap. Let's see. Please take phase 5 and insert it after uh, after phase 10, so it becomes. How does that work? Oh, it'll become the new 10 because we're going to move everything down. Comes the new 10 and shift phases 6 through 10 down so that they're now 5 through 9. Can you do that using the exact roadmap here? Okay. Okay. Oh, I didn't mean to go all the way up. I meant just to go up. Yeah, okay. Basic choose your own style and tasks. Okay, milestone. Navigation system. Yep. Independent scene choices allowing free exploration. Implement directional commands. So directions. Test navigation for seamless transition. Map out the game world. Independence. Okay. Multiple player characters. 5. Introduction to parser. Enable text commands via for player interactions. Tasks. Okay. Implementation of inventory system. Expansive interactivity. Expand the parser vocabulary with more verbs and actions. Build in phase 7 commands, ensuring they work for in-game items and environment. Add complex interactions and responses, ensure logical flow. Okay, milestone enhance interactivity. Save state save system. To implement a comprehensive save and load system, preserve game progress, including room states. A data structure to store the game state, current room ID, player choices, room states like door unlocked, item taken, save system to write the game state to a file. Okay, so we got both in there. Implement a load system to restore the game state. So I do have save to disk also. Compatibility with reusable rooms from phase 3 and multiple player character states from phase 4. Puzzle design and implementation. Okay. Um, Align with narrative. Create backgrounds. Okay. I will add visual elements. Background and scene visuals. I'm gonna change phase 11 a little bit though. Um, that's great. Okay. So maybe I should copy this in a, what do we have? Oh, streaming senpai. I've I've been using multi by since they don't have a Linux version of Meld Studio. I don't even know if Meld is going to continue to be free multi streaming. So I don't know. I don't know if I'll be streaming all 4 platforms in the future. Uh, might even be a time in the future where I'll have to switch back to what was the other thing that what was I using before? Uh, Restream. Okay, that's great. Okay, so um, what did I say I want to do? I wanted to change 11, right? So let's talk about modifying phase 11. While it's true, see phase 11. I'm going to be adding backgrounds. Uh, what did I say? Backgrounds, visual, sound effects, test visuals. Well, sure, I'm going to be adding backgrounds in phase 11. I think the text descriptions will possibly remain. Um, until I get all the point and click stuff worked out. Um, Clickable hotspots, etc. So modify it to read something like, and please stay consistent with how it's written already. Turn static images into backgrounds inserted behind text descriptions. Okay. Hopefully I'll get this done today here. 4, 5, 6, 10. Okay, let's go to back to 11. See what it did. See if it removed it, changed it. Okay, that's good. That'll work. We want to add a task to Space Club, which is let's see. So we're still gonna have some text description. Modify or remove text descriptions to favor visuals. The idea here is I won't necessarily get rid of all text descriptions. For instance, when you use a look command, whatever, it still might have a text description, but maybe it's a bit more limited. I don't know, yeah. It's a bit more limited because now you can see what you're looking at. But before you modify it, tell me what you think in terms of let's say someone is visually impaired. We don't necessarily want to totally get rid of them. But maybe I modify everything let's see. But maybe I modify the scene room in such a way that maybe the text descriptions disappear after a timeout of some sort, or you can toggle them to remain on. What are your thoughts before modifying 12? See what it says. See what he says? What it says? I'm not that concerned about accessibility per se. I'm not saying that I wouldn't do it. I'm just saying for sake of making the game like I'd make the game. Um, I'm thinking more along the lines of, do I want to completely get rid of the text restrictions? Not necessarily. There'll be some instances where you want to keep them. For instance, if you're blind or something, right? Or you just want to keep them on because you like having the text there, even though you have full. You know, you might do look right, and you might look on something. In fact, a lot of the old Sierra games, even up to King's Quest 6, you did the look icon, you did it on the screen where there's no actual interactive items, and then it would give you a text description, a box, and it would leave it up there for a while. Completely stripping text descriptions would lock them out, which is a bad form for an indie adventure game. Your two ideas both work; they trade off different things. Timeout. cleaner screen once the player has been seen the visuals. Keeps a modern point and click feel. Downside, a blind player using a screen reader might miss the full description of the fade toggle. Most inclusive. Player chooses once at the start or via options menu whether they want full text, limited text, or none. Gives control to the player without forcing a timer. Downside, slightly busier screen when text is on. Hybrid that feels clean, keep the text descriptions always present by default, but add a simple toggle hotkey or menu option that hides them after the first look in a room. That way, sighted players get the first experience they expect, while visually impaired players can leave text on permanently. The new task you suggest to modify or remove text descriptions to favor visuals still fits either approach. It just becomes the moment you decide how to favor visuals while protecting accessibility. Um, okay. And what about audio? Do we need descriptive audio? Um, for this type of game, maybe not, since it's not a movie and it has text descriptions. It would probably describe any sounds that were going on. And audio isn't exactly an issue here. Again, this is accessibility thing. So if I were helping fix the interface for the deaf, for instance, um, well, blind would describe how do I do that? Hearing if you're blind but you can still hear. Wait a minute, what was I thinking? You know what? I just realized what I just said was dumb. Obviously, a blind person needs it read to them audibly. That's a different uh, that's a different issue. So really, the descriptions would be for the deaf person because they need um, visuals, and it's already built in with the text descriptions. Hmm. Do you have any pets? I don't have any pets, no. You're spot on with that realization. Yeah, I just realized I was being dumb there. It's opposite what most people first assume. Descriptive audio, like movie style narration and visuals, is usually overkill here. Your existing text descriptions already describe what the player sees, so a screen reader can just read those aloud. No need to record separate voice-over tracks for every scene. Sound effects and music are the only real audio layer. Deaf, hard of hearing players get everything they need from text descriptions and visuals, exactly like you said. Blind players get the visuals described via the text that's already there. So for phase 12, the new task modifier remove text is mostly about visual players. That text itself is already the accessibility bridge for both deaf and blind users via screen readers. You don't need to add any new audio description system unless you decide to go full voice acting later. Yeah, that's true. If I do, that's right. And that's also right. But that's also why I didn't go past the character movement thing because once I have the character movement, like you can click places to move your characters around the screen, and I have NPCs already moving and the whole 9 yards, then that's an interesting thought. Okay. Yes. Yeah. Yes, please. It will be so that added to phase 12. Okay. We're getting there, but I only have 15 minutes left now. Creation of cloud crate. Okay, that works. Okay, thanks. So now I turn to the subject of NPCs as separate objects. Should I leave? Okay, and that's phase 15, right? Phase 15 where it is, or should it be brought down closer to phase whatever it was, 4? The 4 multiplayer phase 4. Because NPCs are going to be kind of they're not mostly going to be that independent. They're going to be related to the scene that they're in, so they're not going to need a lot of. Why it should move it closer. Phase 4 is only about playable characters, switching control attributes, story roles. NPCs need the clickable object system, the UI dialog box framework, and the save state system to actually work as separate. Server objects with dialog trees. We earlier would force you to stub in half-finished NPCs that would have to restart and redo later when the UI hotbox exists. Creates extra rework. Okay. Okay, good. Then, where would you see the right place to be to insert um, a phase for just for dialogue trees? Um, I would expect it to be before puzzles, which is now it's phase 9, right? Puzzles are phase 9. Phase 9, because some puzzles are dialogue puzzles. So the dialogue tree system should be in place first. What do you think? Now you can tell me. I might say after the inventory system, for instance, It could be just before the inventory. It doesn't really matter in that case, but at least it should be before phase 9. Yes, here's exactly it. This place is right after current phase 8 save state system, before the current phase 9 puzzle design and implementation. Why it makes sense there. Dialogue trees are heavy state driven. Flags for has player asked this, NPC trust level, quest branch taken, etc. Having the save state system already in place gives you the foundation you need. You mentioned some puzzles are dialogue puzzles. Putting the dialogue system first means you can build and test those puzzles cleanly instead of hacking and half-finished conversation logic later. It still comes after parser interactivity, so the basic command handling exists after the inventory so item related dialogue can reference objects. Phase 15 already add already lists add dialogue trees as one of its tasks, so once you have this dedicated phase earlier, the NPC phase becomes much simpler. It just wires the existing dialogue system into the clickable NPCs. That placement keeps the whole roadmap flowing logically without creating rework. Okay. That sounds good to me. Um, so slide it in. So please slot in a new phase 9 and just before the existing phase 9 puzzles. Um, and then renumber the successive phases to be 10 to 18. Be 10 to 18 because we're adding a phase. So phase 9 becomes phase 10 again, and everything after bumps up by 1. Please try to keep the phase description consistent with the other ones. With the other ones. So let's see what it does. And I hope we can get this done. I mean, I should be able to get it done here because this is the last thing. I'm gonna have it go ahead and uh, change the save state system to the way it had it before. It can modify it to maybe streamline it a little bit better. Okay. 12, 11, 10. Okay. Expansion interactivity, save state system. Objective: implement dialogue tree system for branching NPC conversations, tasks, design dialogue tree structure supporting multiple levels and branches, integrate with the save state system and enable conditional responses based on player choices and game state, support inventory and character state checks within dialogue, test dialogue trees for logical flow and edge cases, milestone, functional dialogue tree system. Okay, that looks good. Actually, that's pretty good. Uh, Now the save state system is 8, right? So you had suggested a modification to the save state system, which is now phase 8, I believe. One was the title state manage wait management or something. John, by the way, if manage management or something, and do you think that the phase itself should be modified in any way? I already said I didn't have any pets. I used to have cats. My aunt and cousins still have cats. But ever since we moved, we haven't had cats since we were in Oregon, like way, way back in the day. In fact, we didn't even have a pet when we were in Wilsonville, and that was from 1999, technically 2000 to 2013. So I haven't had pets myself, uh, which would have been cats since like I don't know, like the 90s. So just to let you know that I didn't not answer you. I answered you earlier, but I don't know if you heard me or not. Okay. It looks like I'll just barely make it though, as far as this revision. Actually, I probably upload it as a file as soon as I. In fact, let's do the one thing. Let's go ahead and go over to this, and let's go into design documents, and then let's go into the roadmap. Adventure game phases text. I'm not sure if this is right. So graphic adventure. Okay, that was my original revision alpha. So this was my initial, and then my revision alpha had it actually had 12 phases, and then beta had 13 phases. Gamma had 15 phases. Delta Delta also had 16 with my timeline. Uh, Epsilon had 15. So apparently I removed one or merged it or something. Zeta is also 15. Milestone thing. Eight, then Eta. Eta is the current one. Okay, so this is what we're doing here. Um, okay. What? Give me a break. Am I getting too long in the stupid conversation now? Jiminy Christmas. Let's modify this. Save. Where do I add the problem? Hmm. Check out Grok code fast. What what is that? You just mean switch to the fast mode, or Grok code is its own thing or something? Set to expert. Maybe I should set it to auto. I'm going to switch this to auto. Hopefully that doesn't screw anything up. Potential modifications. So Agent 1 and 2 is ready. Agent 3 says the user is waiting for answer about Phase 8 modifications. Another XAI thing, just a thought. Maybe your subscription can help with it as well. Oh, maybe. I'll have to look that up. Lucas. What is Lucas? I don't mind if it's taking long here. I don't think it's being stuck. I think it's not doing the loop like it did on the other thing. There we go. The title could still benefit from small rename. Suggest earlier centralized state management system because it better reflects the core memory state backbone with disk load. The phase itself is already solid and consistent with the rest of the roadmap. It doesn't need any changes. The wording's fine as it is, especially since you clarify the in-memory focus. That's all I think. No other modifications are required unless you want them. Um. Okay. Um. After looking over the text I have so far, it does mention adding disk support as well. So I'll probably still do that. I don't think that changes anything for you. You're correct. The current phase in memory and save state load, that's perfectly fine. Phase is still doing exactly what you want. Central state handling disk persistence added on top, so the existing wording already covers by that. No need to modify. Sure, go ahead and change the title. That will be great. Okay. Looks good. Now, one final tweak. I believe the next letter in the Greek alpha is theta. Am I correct? If so, please change the name to revision theta. Okay. Revision theta. Yes, you're correct. The next letter after theta is theta. Here is the final updated roadmap. Development roadmap, revision theta, basic choose your own adventure style game, navigation system, room independence, multiple player characters, introduction of a parser, implementation of an inventory system, expansion of interactivity, centralized state management system, implementation dialogue trees. It's actually looking good. Things are looking good. Finally, I'm just on time. I'm a little bit late, which is always what happens with me, but I guess, I mean, them's the breaks, right? That looks like it. So, from now on, when I refer to revision theta or just the adventure game road map, it will refer to this version. Okay, let's go ahead and copy that and put that in my text first of all. The format won't be exactly the same here, but oh 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 no, actually it looks like it's following along perfectly. That's interesting. Let's go back up to Ada. Go back to top here and Control C, and then it even has the 3 lines. That's good. It actually retained the... Okay. So theta is we're looking at. Control C. Let's go ahead and we're going to go ahead and we're going to save that. Then we're going to go into here. I'm logged in here, which is good. And then we're going to modify. We're going to edit. Where's edit? Okay. We're going to paste the new one in. Paste. Awesome. We're going to update. Or save it, whatever. Don't change the expiration. Public. Save changes. There we go. Good deal. Yeah, these are Rocky and Bullwinkles from the 60s. A guy by the name of Jay Ward. He did a couple. There's a couple of things that he did for TV, and he finally did this. And if you want, you can find full episodes of the Rocky and Bullwinkle show. You probably like them all. Very cosmic horror, I guess. The Enchanted Lands, and the one called the Magic Chicken. Yeah, and all of them have the really dumb jokes at the end. Okay, so there's other segments too. Okay, so basically, Rocky and Bullwinkle, the episodes they had 2 recurring stories, or I think they did 2 parts per episode. I think that's how they did it. But they're a recurring story involving Rocky and Bullwinkle, and then their arch enemies, Boris and Natasha. Boris bad enough, Natasha, I forget what her last name is supposed to be, and they're always trying to thwart Rocky and Bullwinkle, and so they have these like continuing serials in their deal, and then yeah, some wisdom, right, and always the dumb jokes at the end. Then there was the improbable history of Mr. Peabody, or is it Mr. Peabody and Sherman? Anyways, that one is about a dog named Mr. Peabody, and he adopted a kid named Sherman, and so they go throughout history and they fix history, and it's pretty funny too. And then there's also another segment called Aesop's Fables, which always ends in a really stupid joke. You know, they're kind of, I don't know if all of them are based on actual Aesop's Fables, but some are, and usually in the form of the father telling his son these fables that have like a moral and stuff, and usually it ends up in a dumb joke. So you want to maybe look up, you know, Mr. Peabody and Sherman, and Aesop's Fables, and even the Rocky and Bullwinkle show themselves. I've seen places where they actually have full episodes and everything. And sometimes some people have taken the segments of the Rocky and Bullwinkle show that are connected in like they're sort of like serials kind of, and put them in like one big video, and you can watch those too. All of them are pretty funny. Oh yeah, there's also another segment called Dudley Do Right of the Mounties, and he's a Mountie, that always kind of dumb lucks into everything. It's pretty funny too if you watch it. Anyways, yep, I guess I got you hooked on Fractured Fairy Tales, but they're great. You know, that's the only thing that I've actually taken an idea from to use in my game. Okay, so um, I need to get off here soon, right now almost, but okay. All right. So the other thing that I need to do now is I need to download. We're gonna download this. Uh, and we're going to put this in, not in rooms, because that was the last thing. We're going to put this in design. Uh, and then I have adventure game phases. That's the actual phases. Why don't I just go ahead and why don't I call this adventure game roadmap? Adventure game roadmap revision data. That text. Okay. So now I will load it as a file to personal files. Okay. So let's attach. It's weird that they don't seem to be in an order. Design documents. Open. Save. Okay. Oh, I know the other thing that I wanted to do they didn't get to do tonight, and that was to put my main synopsis so that I don't have to enter in every time I need to start a new. Okay. Yeah, Dudley Do Right. What the movie was actually based on the segment in Rocky and Bullwinkle. I don't know if we ever actually watched it or not, because some of those ones. Okay, so I don't know if you heard of George of the Jungle, but Brendan Fraser was in a movie of that. George of the Jungle was also Jay Ward, the guy that did Rocky and Bullwinkle and did those ones. George of the Jungle is really funny too. It's its own cartoon, but you'd like it too. George of the Jungle, he's a Tarzan type of character, and he always slams into trees when he's trying to swing. And he's got an elephant named Shep, who thinks he's a dog, and then there's a gorilla that can speak like perfect English and stuff, and he's actually smarter than George is. It's great. George the Jungle is great. The actual cartoon. Um, okay, so now I've uploaded. Okay, so I am going to try to start a new conversation to see if you can read the roadmap from files. So thanks for the help. Okay, so let's go ahead and do a new chat and project. Um, so I'm making a game, and you can get a sense of what it is from the files that I uploaded to this project. They're in order by chapter, a particular grouping in my game. And then an additional file, which is actually my adventure game roadmap. Can you tell me what's in? Can you briefly tell me what's in that other file? The game room files. It's 18 sequential, starting simple and gradually adding complexity. Mid phases, inventory system. Okay, later phases, audio visual upgrades. Size nonlinear, reusability, state persistent, gradual shift from pure text parser to a hybrid graphical adventure. Structure is clear milestones so you can build it incrementally without everything breaking. Linear to branching, choose your own adventure scenes with numbered choices, destinations. What's the name of the roadmap? I wanted to tell me. That's the file name, the actual name from within the file. The top should be the top line. Create mouthfuls of copy after seeing an ad on TV about coffee. Spelling coffee at the time. Yeah, yeah. Tookie bird. Yep. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Thanks. Okay. Thanks. My time is up for this session, probably for today. So I'll see you the next time. Not a bonus session tonight on Thursday, March 26th, 2026. It's 26/26. How about that? Of course, it's 03. It's 3/26/26, but hey, 26/26. It's lucky. Um, Tomorrow, the 27th. Good. Okay. Um, Now, okay, so I'm about done for today. So, John, thanks for watching, and or listening, whichever you were doing. Rick, thanks for listening, and I will see you guys later. If I get time enough tonight, I haven't been able to do that this past couple of days, but if I get some time enough tonight, I might get on and do another session and get back to actually. Well, I'm gonna add that other document, and then get back to chapter 13. Yep. See you later. Over and out. Thank you for watching part 2.